Hey everyone, and welcome again to BioFun, the channel where learning biology is always fun.
Have you ever stopped to think about breathing? I mean, really think about it? You do it all day, every day. Even when you're sleeping. It's an amazing process, and it doesn't happen alone. Your respiratory system, which is your breathing system, has a very important partner. That partner is your circulatory system. Your circulatory system is your blood's superhighway, powered by your heart. These two systems are like the best of friends. They work together constantly to keep you alive and full of energy. Without one, the other couldn't do its job. It's a team effort happening inside your body right now. Consider this. Let's get one thing straight. There are two big jobs your respiratory system does. First, there's breathing. Breathing is the physical act of moving air in and out of your lungs. Inhale. Exhale. That's breathing. It's a mechanical process like opening and closing a door to let things in and out. The second job is called respiration. Respiration is a chemical process. It's the process of swapping gases. Your body takes in the oxygen it needs from the air and gets rid of the carbon dioxide waste it doesn't. Breathing gets the air to the party, but respiration is the party itself. Let's follow the air. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Go on, try it. The journey begins right there. Your nose is more than just something to put sunglasses on. The nose is a vital organ that conditions the inhaled air by warming, moistening, and filtering it before it reaches your lungs. Inside your nose are tiny little hairs called cilia, and sticky stuff called mucus. They act like a filter, trapping dust, pollen, other gunk before it can get into your lungs. It's your body's first line of defense. Sometimes air comes in through your mouth, but your nose is the preferred expert-designed entrance for air. It's a brilliant piece of biological engineering. From your nose or mouth, the air travels down your throat into a tube called the pharynx. The pharynx is a busy intersection. It's a passageway for air. It's a passageway for food. This is where another cool part comes in. The epiglottis. The epiglottis is a small flap of tissue that acts like a traffic cop. When you breathe, it stays open, letting air go down into your windpipe. When you swallow, it flops down to cover your windpipe, directing food toward your stomach instead. It prevents you from choking. It's a simple but incredibly important little flap. Next up is the larynx, which you might know as your voice box. This is where your vocal cords are located. As air passes over them, they can vibrate to create sound, allowing you to talk, sing, or yell. The larynx protects the airway below it and helps produce your unique voice. After passing the larynx, the air enters the trachea or windpipe. The trachea is a strong, wide tube ringed with cartilage to keep it from collapsing. Think of it as the main highway for air, leading directly down toward your lungs. Finally, the trachea splits into two smaller tubes. These are called the bronchi. There is one bronchus for each lung. But the branching doesn't stop there. Inside the lungs, the bronchi split again and again into thousands of smaller and smaller tubes called bronchioles. It looks like an upside-down tree, with the trachea as the trunk and the bronchi and bronchioles as the branches. These tiny tubes, widespread tubes to ensure that air reaches every area. This intricate network ensures maximum distribution of that precious air. At the very end of the tiniest bronchioles, we find the real stars of the show, the alveoli. The alveoli are millions of tiny, stretchy air sacs. They look like microscopic bunches of grapes. If you could flatten out all the alveoli in your lungs, they would cover an entire tennis court. This massive surface area is the key to what happens next. This is where the air you breathed in finally meets your blood. It's the destination at the end of that long, winding road we just traveled. All the tubes and passages were just to get the air right here. Each tiny alveolus is wrapped in a web of even tinier blood vessels called capillaries. The walls of both the alveoli and the capillaries are incredibly thin, just one cell thick. This is super important. The thin walls allow gases to pass through them easily. When you breathe in, the alveoli fill up with air that is rich in oxygen. The blood flowing through the capillaries around them has just come from the body, full of carbon dioxide and low on oxygen. The stage is now set for a remarkable swap. This is where gas exchange happens. It's a process called diffusion. Molecules move from areas of high concentration to low concentration. Oxygen moves from the air sacs into the blood. Carbon dioxide moves from the blood into the air sacs. It's a simple, elegant, and automatic exchange. The blood, now loaded with fresh oxygen, flows away from the lungs and back to the heart. The heart pumps this oxygen-rich blood out to every cell in your body. Meanwhile, the carbon dioxide in your alveoli is waiting to be expelled. When you breathe out, you push this waste gas out of your lungs, out of your body, and back into the atmosphere. So, we know how air gets in and what happens when it's there, but how does the actual in and out part of breathing work? It's not like your lungs have muscles of their own to pull air in. Instead, they get help from a big, powerful muscle located just below them. This muscle is called the diaphragm. It's a large, dome-shaped sheet of muscle that separates your chest cavity from your abdominal cavity. The diaphragm is the main engine of breathing, and it works in a beautiful, rhythmic dance with your rib muscles. Let's talk about inhalation, or breathing in. To take a breath, your diaphragm contracts and flattens, moving downward. At the same time, the muscles between your ribs contract. They pull your rib cage upward and outward. That makes the space inside your chest cavity bigger. The pressure inside your lungs becomes lower than the air pressure outside your body. Air moves from high pressure to low pressure, so air rushes into your lungs to fill the space. It's not sucked in, it flows in naturally. Breathing out, exhalation, is usually passive, requiring little effort. Diaphragm and rib muscles relax, shrinking the chest cavity. This squeezes the lungs, raising internal pressure above outside air, forcing the CO2-rich air out. This whole cycle happens automatically, without you even having to think about it. The breathing control center in your brainstem sends constant signals to your diaphragm and rib muscles, telling them when to contract and relax. Resting adults breathe 12 to 20 times per minute. Exercise demands more oxygen, so the brain accelerates muscle action, causing deeper, faster breathing in this highly responsive system. Our respiratory system is amazing, but it's also delicate. Sometimes things can go wrong. There are several common disorders that can affect our ability to breathe easily. One of the most well-known is asthma. Asthma causes the airways, the bronchioles, to become inflamed and narrowed. They can also produce extra mucus. This makes it very difficult for air to move in and out of the lungs, leading to symptoms like wheezing, coughing, and shortness of breath. Asthma attacks can be triggered by allergens, exercise, or cold air. It's a chronic condition that requires careful management. Another common issue is bronchitis. Itis means inflammation, so bronchitis is simply the inflammation of the bronchial tubes. This is often caused by a viral infection, like the common cold, and leads to a persistent cough that brings up mucus. Acute bronchitis usually clears up on its own. However, chronic bronchitis is a more serious, long-term condition. Then there are diseases that damage the lung tissue itself. Emphysema is a serious lung disease, also strongly linked to smoking. Alveoli are damaged, their fragile walls breaking to form fewer, larger, inefficient air spaces. This greatly reduces the surface area for gas exchange, causing constant shortness of breath. Pneumonia is different. It's an infection that inflames the alveoli in one or both lungs. The air sacs may fill with fluid or pus, making it very difficult for oxygen to get into the blood. Finally, one of the most serious respiratory diseases is lung cancer.
This is when cells in the lung begin to grow out of control, forming tumors. These tumors can destroy healthy lung tissue, block airways, and spread to other parts of the body. The number one cause of lung cancer is smoking. All of these conditions highlight just how important it is to take care of our lungs, avoid smoking and pollution, and wash hands to prevent infections. These are simple actions keep the respiratory system working optimally.
Keep curious and keep exploring the natural world around you. Thank you for subscribing to BioFun channel, where your curiosity fuels our exploration of the fascinating realms of biology.